Good morning, No Alliance Movement. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Now, today is the 22nd of September 2021, and I'm releasing this message to Lamin Tamba is ours 1, Lamin Tamba is ours 2, Lamin Tamba is ours 3, Roots Defenders, K40, K4, Rescue, Gambia, Alliance, No Alliance 2, NPP 1, No Alliance to NPP 2, Hardcore, APRC, Operation No to Barrow 1, Operation No to Barrow 2, Babele Mansa for Life, Fonyi Kansala Babele Mansa. The groups are endless. The No Alliance movement is getting bigger and it's expanding. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't have time this week, and I will not have time until next week to do the morning dose every day. I think I said that last week. I'd love to talk to everyone on a daily basis just to give you advice, because something is always happening in Barrow government and is always negative. Majority of it is negative. But the No Alliance movement, I want to give you an idea of what's going on. I've had a lot of talking inside the No Alliance movement about who should be at the front, who should be at the back. To me, the only frontman we have is President Jammeh Babile Mansa. So I want to talk to you about that now briefly before I go into Jola, because I heard Barrow is coming into the Fonies tomorrow, and they're hiring vehicles from the combos. The APRC executive are hiring vehicles from the combos to go to Kalaji to meet President Barrow. I'll talk about those in Jola, Wall of Mandinka, God willing. But let me begin with the No Alliance movement. With this leadership stuff, somebody should be at the front. I don't trust this person, I don't trust that person. To me, all these are side talks that which we shouldn't be paying too much attention to. But I think it's good for me to give you my opinion. My opinion is not 100% right. It doesn't mean everyone has to believe it. It doesn't mean everyone has to follow it. This is how I see things happening. Now, the No Alliance movement didn't happen randomly. We suspected there's a lot of foul play taking place in the APRC National Executive Committee. Way back in April, May 2021, when the National Executive Committee of the APRC, the NEC, decided to meddle with the executive in CRR, Central River Region. The National Executive Committee were aware of the problems in CRR, which started, I think, in the by-election of Nyamina West. That's when the problems in CRR started, because we realized there were people in the executive of the CRR who were not genuine APRC, or who were not fighting for the APRC. And that undermining of the party, the inside people, were one reason why we could not put a candidate up for the Nyamina West by-election that happened last year in October, November 2020. So there was suspicion of foul play, that the APRC ranks in CRR were infiltrated by Barrow and his people, and people in the APRC National Executive who were working for Barrow in CRR. And therefore, they meddled with the selection process of APRC candidates for the by-election in Nyamina West. I'm going to give you a genesis of the problem in chronology. The signs that we saw at the beginning as to what led to the current situation of the APRC. The current situation where a minority group of the APRC have decided to sell their souls to betray President Jammeh for Barrow's sake. This is where it all began. This is where we suspected that these people were just on the verge of making their next step of joining Barrow. So CRR issues were happening. President Jammeh instructed the CRR executive to remove all the APRC insiders, Barrow people, the people who were infiltrated, people who were planted inside the CRR executive, who are actively working for Barrow and the NPP and not the APRC. So those instructions came from our supreme leader, our party leader and flag bearer of the APRC, President Jammeh. And the chairman of CRR, and he's still the chairman of CRR, Alhaji Omar Mambure, decided to act on the instructions of the party leader, supreme leader and flag bearer of the APRC, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa. Alhaji Omar Mambure decided to act on the instructions of purging the CRR executive of all the NPP players. And he did exactly that. The National Executive Committee of the APRC, knowing fully well that Omar Mambure acted on the instructions of the party leader, and the party leader of APRC can hire and fire the executive of the APRC. So therefore, if he gave the instructions to the chairman of CRR to remove the NPP people inside his executive, and the CRR chairman, Alhaji Omar Mambure, did exactly that, the APRC National Executive Committee had no right to go and organize a sham congress, a dodgy congress, an illegal congress in CRR to remove Alhaji Omar Mambure, Aja Babun Sidibe, and others who were loyal to the APRC and loyal to Babili Mansa. The executive committee of APRC had no right to do that, but they went ahead and staged a congress in CRR, and instead of holding it in Janjanbureh, which is the headquarters of APRC, or the administrative headquarters of the region of CRR, they decided to hold the congress in Mandinaba, a congress which was ill-advised, poorly organized, and illegally conducted as far as the constitution of the APRC is concerned, without the authority of the party leader of APRC, the flag bearer of APRC, and the supreme party leader of the APRC, Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya AJJ Jammeh. That congress in CRR was held illegally. So therefore, any executive that was selected in CRR is an illegal executive as far as we're concerned. But that's the point. That's the point at which we realized that something needed to be formed inside the APRC to counter what the National Executive Committee of the APRC was about to do. So we suspected these people were working for Barrow, not just the CRR insiders, but the National Executive Committee of the APRC were working for Barrow. If they weren't, why were they worried about the CRR chairman, Omar Mambure, removing the NPP insiders from his executive? Why is the National Executive Committee of the APRC worried about the chairman of CRR removing enemies of the APRC from his executive? If the National Executive Committee of the APRC wasn't working actively for Barrow, why were they concerned when the chairman of CRR removed Barrow's agents inside of his executive in CRR? Why did that annoy the APRC National Executive Committee? So the APRC National Executive Committee were effectively working with NPP agents inside of the APRC as far back as last year. But we know from evidence from the NPP that they were actively sleeping with the enemy since 2018. The National Executive Committee of the APRC was sharing pillows, were on the rumpy-pumpy with the NPP people since 2018. They were rumping. They were in on the act. They were destroying the APRC from inside, undermining the party's efforts to get the party ready for the election in December 2021. The National Executive Committee were not actively strengthening the party inside and outside, nationwide, to ensure APRC is election ready, to ensure APRC is battle hardened, to ensure the APRC mobilized funds and personnel to get itself ready to return to State House via the ballot box. The executive of the APRC was effectively working with the NPP to ensure the APRC was weak from within. And this came evident in the CRR saga, which led to the pronouncement of the National Executive Committee in August that the party was going into alliance with the NPP. Again, this pronouncement was done illegally. The APRC constitution is not reflecting the change in the party's position. The APRC executive never called Congress for the delegates across the country to endorse this current pronouncement that the party was going to go into alliance with the NPP. The party leader, supreme party leader, and flag bearer of the APRC is opposed to the current pronouncement of the APRC National Executive Committee that the party was going into alliance with the NPP. So therefore, as far as we're concerned, the current alliance between the APRC and NPP is illegal. But I want APRC supporters in the No Alliance movement to know that since April, May, we have set up a group called Roots Defenders to defend the APRC at all costs. And I want people to understand that the No Alliance movement as it is today is the work of myself, Pa Modu Mbo, Ami Jata, Bakari Saibo Sane, Honorable Abdou Jaju, General Sekabai, Alhaji Omar Mambure, and several others who I cannot name, Almame Jiba and others. Professor Baji, Prof. Ansu Baji, were all involved in the Roots Defenders Association, which started because we suspected the National Executive Committee of the APRC were up to no good way back in April, May 2021, when the No Alliance movement started underground, as we observed the activities of the National Executive Committee of the APRC, NEC. We knew that the NEC was up to no good. So we started the underground movement to counter every single thing that they were doing now. But at that point, we were advising the National Executive Committee of the APRC that the path that they were trying to tread, the direction that they were just about to head, was not a good direction for the APRC party. And therefore, they needed to go a step back, consult President Jammeh, and get President Jammeh to approve every single thing that they're doing in accordance with the APRC constitution. The NEC of the APRC didn't want to hear the advice from us. So therefore, this whole thing about Honorable Ablai Bojang, Honorable Emeba, yes, I can tell you this right now, the No Alliance movement, that Honorable Ablai Bojang was actively involved in the organization of the tour of CRR that was carried out by Pa Modu Mbo way back in May 2021, when President Jammeh gave Pa Modu Mbo instructions to purchase kola nuts and go to every constituency or every region in CRR, every ward in CRR, to apologize to the people of CRR and reassure them that President Jammeh is still thinking about them. He has the people of CRR in his thoughts, that Pa Modu Mbo and the team can go to CRR, every constituency, every ward, meet the people in CRR, to say to them that although the executive of CRR was illegally removed by the National Executive Committee of the APRC, President Jammeh still holds them in high regard and still considers them important members of the APRC, and that they should hold strong and be loyal to President Jammeh. So the Roots Defenders Association organized that tour. It cost us about $22,000 to set the road for Pa Modu Mbo, Ami Jata and others to tour every constituency in CRR, every ward, on behalf of President Jammeh. Honorable Ablai Bojang was involved in the organization of that. So he's not new. In fact, Honorable Ablai Bojang was invited back to the party by the APRC National Executive via the cyber warriors of APRC. So he came back at the latter end of 2019 or 2020 to the APRC. And they all hailed the APRC itself, the National Executive Committee, the cyber warriors, all hailed the return of Honorable Ablai Bojang, the former Speaker of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia. They all hailed him. They said, "Oh, welcome Honorable Ablai Bojang. Welcome to the ranks of the APRC." He was part of the cyber warriors. He was part of the moves, the meetings and other things that the APRC executive were carrying out in the Combos, in West Coast region and other areas. Honorable Ablai Bojang was there. He returned to the APRC before this No Alliance movement thing started. And when the No Alliance movement thing started, he was part of the Roots Defenders Association that set up that tour of Pa Modu Mbo in CRR in July 2021. So therefore, I do not know about Emeba. Emeba came back in August when the No Alliance movement was getting stronger, bigger and better, because he was invited to the No Alliance movement meeting that was organized by Honorable Jerending Sanyang. So this whole issue about, Emeba and Ablai Bojang should not be at the forefront, it's fine. That's members' view, and the members' views will be respected. We will take them into consideration. Emeba and Honorable Ablai Bojang were not at the forefront at the beginning of the No Alliance movement, but Honorable Ablai Bojang was in the thick of it. He was part of the planning of the tour of Sierra that Pa Modumbo, Amijata and others organized, including Alaji Omar Mambure. Honorable Ablai Bojang was part of that organization. In fact, he wanted to go on that tour, but due to circumstances, he couldn't go on that tour with Pa Modumbo and Amijata. So Emeba just came back not long ago. He came back in August at that meeting, few days before that meeting that we saw in Lamen. So in my view, the real leaders of the No Alliance movement from its inception, from the beginning, are Honorable Abdou Jaju, who is part of the National Executive Committee of the APRC. Honorable Bakari Saibo Sane, who was part of the No Alliance movement from the beginning and is part of the APRC National Executive Committee. Honorable Pa Modumbo, Honorable Amijata, and others who I cannot name. Amame Jiba, myself, Alpha Jamanka, Professor Ansubaji were there from the beginning when we were setting up the Roots Defenders Association to set the tone for what the No Alliance movement is today. So in my view, the leaders of the No Alliance movement should be informed with everything that Emeba does, that Honorable Ablai Bojan does, that anybody in the No Alliance movement does. They should run the programs of the No Alliance movement via Honorable Abdi Jaju, Honorable Bakari Saibo Sane, Honorable Pa Modumbo, Honorable Ame Jata, and Honorable or General Sekabai, and others who were there from the beginning. Yes, Honorable Ablai Bojang was there from the beginning of the No Alliance movement. Emeba, I just found out that he was coming back or attending the meeting of the No Alliance movement in August that we held. The No Alliance movement that shook the foundation of the APRC. The No Alliance movement meeting that set the tone for what it is today. Spot meetings are being held. Nationwide meetings are being held. We're just about to tour the nation. We wanted a big rally this weekend just gone. We couldn't because the police have refused us permits. The police are worried. Barrow's people are worried. The APRC National Executive are worried about the No Alliance movement. It's because of the power we have, the power of unity we have. Therefore, my advice to Emeba, Honorable Ablai Bojang, and any other person involved in the No Alliance movement is to run everything past Honorable Abdou Jaju, Honorable Bakar Saibo Sane, Pa Modumbo, Amejata, Honorable Sekabai, or General Sekabai. Anything that's happening in the No Alliance movement should be approved by these people. They should be consulted. Nobody should be calling a press conference aside. Nobody should be allowed to run anything in the No Alliance movement without these leaders who were there from the beginning being involved and knowing about it. Let's hold off, let's put away, let's postpone any planned press conference. Let's do this meeting in Brikama this weekend and other areas this weekend. Sani Mentoring, Brufut, Kotu Kuare, Sukuta Nema, Manjai, Old Joswan, New Joswan, Talinding, all these meetings that are scheduled, Fajikunda and other areas where we're going to have meetings this coming weekend or these coming days. Let's hold those meetings first. Let's postpone the press conference. I heard there's a press conference. The leaders of the No Alliance movement weren't aware of it. They were not involved in it. Let's postpone it for now. So anything that anybody does in the No Alliance movement needs to go via our NEC members. They are the leaders. Honorable Abdou Jaju is part of the National Executive Committee of the APRC. Honorable Bakari Saibo is a leader in the National Executive Committee of the APRC. Let them be informed adequately, right, in advance of any activity that's taking place. Let them put it in the calendar of the No Alliance movement. Let everyone else, including Emeba and Honorable Ablai Bojang, for me as a person, I welcome them. We will never say no to numbers in the No Alliance movement. We'll never say no to capacity in the No Alliance movement. We'll never say no to additions to our ranks in the No Alliance movement. They're welcome. They can support the movement, but the movement has got National Executive Committee leaders, Abdou Jaju, Bakari Saibo Sane. It also has its own vanguard. The No Alliance movement has its own vanguard, that Pamodu Bo, Ame Jata, Honorable Sekabai, and others, Albame Jiba, and others who I cannot name, Professor Ansubaji. You see, this is why I don't like naming people, because I tend to forget, and it will seem as if it's disrespectful not naming people. Honorable Ablai Bojang, to be honest with you guys, was part of the No Alliance movement from the beginning. So if Honorable Abla Bojang is dividing opinion, if Emeba is dividing opinion, they can be part of the No Alliance movement, but the leadership can continue as it is, and the leadership of it is what I named earlier. Honorable Abdujaju, Bakar Sabo Sane, Pamodu, Amijata, Sekabai, and others who were there from the inception. Professor Ansubaji was in there, or Prof we call him, and other people. So we have a leadership structure. Emeba is welcome. Emeba and his team are welcome. Honorable Abla Bojang is welcome, and his team, they're all welcome. I want us to do one thing. Let's look up to Honorable Abdujaju as the tip of the diamond, supported by Bakari Saibo Sane and Jerending Sanyang as two supporting acts. These three should be informed adequately with every plan that's happening in the No Alliance movement. That's my opinion. My opinion is not the absolute truth, but I can tell you this is how things started with the No Alliance movement. All right? So now I go to Jola, Bukanom Kefunyi. Anisa Fusab, Inje Lamin Tamba, Anaolo, Inje Sankanam, the WhatsApp audio, Inje Kanem Facebook Live, Inje Mfutika for No Alliance movement, Wula Mfutika for Mujuma Anifano, Jakumbeko Jamfa Anifano. Yo, Inje Apalu, Inje Anyolo, wala Baringo, wala Atiyu, Manosan Rek, Inje Wanosan Wonkam Rek, Karesak, Inje Lekan Ning Mikane Purman Kunganya Karesakumbum, Honey. Baremang Ejamu Meno. APS executive man ku jawnya bere baro ani fana bonyitida mani manje tienam kes tienam tien e furim fani baje fan manje fa jume ani fana regut buku man ku jaw ba baro areguti jat areguti fuken dat aregi kajom ani fana regut buku man ku jaw executive ye APS ani fana reguti man ku jaw ba baro buku fangi fu ko fole fo kariben haja yoli ko kila dambangi ko kila chebi wanko kumangum bari baro woko mon karibena anwa anosana mangum babaro wala tunu manja manjo manku sankana nyamanko ne ha UDP ku wen japan ko kamma nyi la fonyi panko kamma nyi la jola pan kamma jakum bi jantanori anyi la fonya anyi la jola akoli to wafo waf politique e wante kan o ma jola o ma fule o ma manding o ma surwa o ma serer o ma balanta o ma sarakule wala o ma manjak politique e warante bilmo politique e weblo moyeme anosana no rungenala musanalo furung na rock wankana ko mangum mawroke baro nana kamya president of 2017 be jat aka aleto wanosane wantum wanambo ma akila di UDP nankula komdo kakajana ke ko nyila ke funyi anyila funyi afulewo ajola o amandinga ko manjija ma o funyi problem kanja o jola di fandum baro asola to wafo waf kanta jakarta alu ya nambo menyese na mamambe angar anyila funyi ani fana funyi amanside funyi amanside Gambia president Jame o ko mangom beka jamfa mambe ko ngar kata ko sen yo baro gelat ke UDP ko ngolanta anyila funyi wafo waf anyila funyi la talañ balem anyila funyi akoliwt waf funyi biru njani wole mbejat funyi e jom de fangyo kana ke funyi e rock de fangi manko ko ngolan ko sen fangi kalimis ngola ko jumen fangi kalemes ngola ko nyesoro furiya fanko to berie anyila funya kolit wafo waf jakum bi koli UDP executive APS kana jako baraka ko ngola na ngola brokom ko wele e jolle na jolle wanko ruden nya APS jat le bajoen jam fayan ko nya jat le bajoen because APS fangi me baje bukanak no party sami Gambia 2 party sami Gambia si baje njabo kanak UDP waykon bare baro na fum UDP baro nanganga panaya UDP ajitu mbarakela panaya UDP e kelewt UDP kankani ko e fambrek bar UDP ko budget bukan ko kela nya APS ay mako waren ko koli Gambia bajot party lebo Gambian manji APS warane kolien party e kela bar ana mangut jabe ka jollan amangut jabe kan buroko bajake amangut jabe ka tilling leta tilling APRC executive yolla de beaucoup tout kan ngarla nyakan manje no nam bolimi 2017 di APRC nam bolim 2018 di APRC nam bolimi 2019 di APRC beaucoup kan executive ko ngarlo nyako nyila ke fonyi manko no ha jija mano orambena baro no baro bobe no ko nyila beaucoup ke fonyi ka sankan nya audio we bobe kom ay ma juki ay ma jamay nene jakum bi jibuntora ko jibu ko jiye kolya bu kolya tenyi bu tenyi Yaya Jammeh o kamme ana la juma mana fasalo na puren la wan lakam nona no kunyila ke fonyi le ko karang mbindani ya kunyila ke fonyi le ko bacci palaso kenes because tatu panku lako manko rembora man sumim de correct man sumim de ko kan ani fana purene kunyila ko jolak de bugalam na purene ko manjaka de ko bugalam na purene ko balanta de ko bugalam na purene anos anan manje wata kila ye jawra ana jukereriti ko kila kan ko dantangre ko bajemde nafayet man sakundai ani fana bila mana prendo mana remben a reno bukana tu a surwa o a jola o a mandingo a fule o a balanta manjaka kana tu kure tamet ani fana nya boku jat election e bari ngera no bara manju me kamanta fonyi e baja anyi la jola na baja manko cesor nya ko nyila ko jola di ko koli Ismaila Jammeh o me be jaat o man ko kole ko rebo rek wawtan buko kasankane nyamon ko nyila ke foni kane haaji jaaji rambe na baro wakane kole bo rek baro man ko katen Ismaila Jammeh wakane kole bo rek baro man ko katen NIA kanko kolum since 2017 se met fu tokki koko bodi kasoy trial yole jawto ban Ismaila Jammeh ko caaji to ko try to fan bakule moma buko kanko ko ngaro man ko tapase tata man ko nan ko kala ko mangom be ka puren man sakunda baro di WhatsApp ko nyila ke bobey le ko nyila ke foni tase kuragi kulangeni brok de militaire ko lalat kalangeni ak militaire compensation e bagude banko waran ko chami meto manko takeni nyam ko kila ko mangem be ko puren a masakunda baro di government yo ko compensate to be jat gilat ko nyila ke foni baro be bel foni kajo manko rego meno nyake ko mama me baro abajit bu kan foni abajit any support foni ke foni ko manko jume futi ka fani fana be jat an le ko katena ne fana le ko jam fana fa nyawa ko mange kone ha si mota si bajo sato be tebule bu kana kombo mambe ko jaw ko yenyor di baro di baba kalaji man ko jaw ko bendom bo baro kalaji nya baro baji nya support foni mo ko be ngaro si mota kombo be mambe kana ko jupo di kalaji man ko he baro nang ngar foni le bajo ni manira gum fana ko kila inye duniyawe kana tuku babaji mobile phone si babaji camera si ngol si ngar video ano sani na mama baro a budget support Gambia mo kane na mambe e chambu kana ko latu ke APRC ko nyila ke APRC kan manje kuti ko futi ko follow 2017 ko nyila ke foni kan manje kuti ko futi ko follow 2018 ko nyila ke foni kan manje kuti ko futi ko follow 2019 baro ko kila nambo me chamenye mana sene si brown envelopes manko bil ko rek kana ke foni ha jijajira mena baro because akila ngole malangi no anifana nyawa kana langi lo tanifana 5 years baro abaje nja semba kila pour mana langen wani fano wakana langen lot ani fano for 5 years simbet for tok alangen lot ani fano je baro fango tan na la ko di tele nana kila to ngona jitu mo ani fano kila kebo nyaawula kara mena baro meti na fa yo la yemo tine yo la yemo yondo baro administrative secretary yo la nala ko la ko tate nane ha agreement yang APRC executive yang ko fomunya yo ko kila di NPP keb mansa kunda ledo so wakame wala ramena ja baro yo ka win election e December baro nango ngala tiwor mana jikala mana muy si tole jinyulot muy di NPP keb jikane agreement muy di mansa kunda jikane agreement so ngelati jitu mo ani fano ngel jamelata leñu wapu ngole nanto leto ngole nato wafo mo kana wuli no alliance movement ka jumum ko ne le ko jawba baro anu koko fange man ko jupo e APRC wuli none leto jaw baro ngel lamin tamba sankana nya leto jaw baro leto supporto manta ni fana rek ja manta yaaja ma rek jaade bari yaaja ma ledo de baro na regu reg already janding election me akila le tangon na jitu mani fana akila kebo baro administrative secretary e party yola njay nane le tangon na jitu mani fana akila kebo mansa kunda pe ngon na jitu mani fana je mansa kunda kama yeta le yo baro buku ko boku try manko buntor muyu manko bonyu ko nyila ke foni kanko sen bagode ko tous e bagode job manko be ko buntu muyu mete ha baro akame borungam jirambe nalo mana ganye ja pamba jitu mani fana babbar na nalta jitu mani fana baro asafela ola administrative secretary aronem party yola nan ko ngol ko jitu mani fana man sakunda pe jitu so wala rambe na ja baro yo ka win December mana ti woru ni mana kanum bukara ko nyankan ko nokenorum 2016 mana jam faynya na ti woru be di ke APRC ma jikero la de bulo bolla tulara ka jumbalara manane ha ngelati ngol ni jitu mani fana wapu ngole nanto leto ngole nato wafo so wan ngole na moemi baro e ko mang ero anda abion e wuj Sorry guys, too noisy. There's an aircraft going over. I'm in my garden recording this. The garden is a bit noisy. I'm enjoying the sun. It's sunny in London today. Yo, Sonyake. Wuli none. No alliance movement. Barwa sola Jakarta APS. Ajitu mani fana we nye janding election. Ajitu mlot jani fana janding October flenga feka bobo fatu nyabe jume. Ajitu mlot jani fana janding flenga feka bobo October furing. Hani APS ya nyilo okonatu besen baro karta. Po janti no wani fana atumbere gola tata janding kone silo kun sigaba silo kun sifegi. Wano sa nani fana president jama regolam no kana okila. Jum ling tanji jumo jakum ji move tatu betat. Baro abil ja foni jakum ji pur jila ko sindel ji jaw lakaw. Bara baji tamiyete ko wanyak. Bajangata be gambe simit soni si baki birum baro ala ko bejat anomod bajangata. An bajangata batunya be pour le nye fulenga fa bilonya. Lata nombo. Mana jawnya to yitu mana tourne nya esuke tu mofomet Gambia. Aregul bukana bajangata butumbu nate nom baro. E bota yoko mutumbu kilo yoko mutumbu alebo rek simit son si baki o yepe tokinden alebo non bajangata web kana kay rayti suke bajo we bu bebe na alebo loptan ko nyila karangelu yobo kanyo mela molla ko jake e sofes wala si chalas ko yetede ko baj si wala nye ko boji ko kuwo nyako ko cilum wurgo walla nye so ko kilum suke hani sulu pesolla kukuo kano kenu manku ngar wasumi o santi jaade ko min ko mara ko ya ko buji ko buja bu kanak bano sane ko bukene bu kanak bano sane bale Gambia ande ko buje ande ni le bi nga bola ko toke baba bi nga ko rangene baba le ban birum baro a jawlo be jat problème si baniri Gambia akila pambu jam mburambena mambu jam fa ya jam mati ay baro ale boto mburok birum baro ala ko be jat wana kane foni lebu ko fanka sankene nya fuñi jaat man kon girambe na baro la ko kala na bonyum fuñi in 2017 man ko ceng wakane bu ko nyira ke fuñi ko mangot man sakunda yola di ko safelon tout ko senom daliles furim of tout vanke fuñi ko raga wakame ko support baro ko senom baro akanto to waf na ngarom recommendation se kala yana bonyu ko nyira ke fuñi man ko ceng ke fuñi in 2017 na ngarom recommendation se kala tout akajenom jaat ka sankar nyaman kon ha muy ke foni muy ko jola gi support baro ko kila fango ko baro abonlam 2017 hani wafa kanto alangen ko nyila ke foni broko ka ko chesoron de militaire ya ko lañut kala kom civil service ko lañut managing director ko lañut de lam benento na yahum ko senegal ke soldat ko yahum si pimbenes ko soldat ko la Gambia wafu purto ko yahum haruna jata di kana ke kanila si pimbenes wafu purto ko yahum ismaila tamba si pimbenes wafu purto sirfo ko jabi tata ko bujo man ko betende kolonge wafu purto ko sofum kana ko ne 51 aseka farte nom da nyila ko naw do de 51 ay kila man ko kole mi tata mal tu wafu purloto joka seka fara fola nyamata bakanyo e manju ko pan ko bilum jaar wata kila na wuli tikem 2017 2018 2019 ko kila bobe ko pam ko rago ha lamin tamba ha belumo executive kankama lamin tamba jakut lamin tamba mangotani fana bobe jiragi ko yiseno 2017 nam bolim wit on the 26th of January non commencé me manje malage nan kama dodo mom non manju me ani fana wo jupe wan ko ragenya account katake no rek non commencé am fotika fo APRC no nam bolim buku bobe kare gawnya jaaji supporta baro jaar ko bobe executive APRC ko bobe nene jakum bi jaw baro abil ja foni je moso jakum bi jiri beno di mos bara baji time foni de o juku ja odu tu dana mbanya nane ha kila kare dal ministerium me buyam bobe buyam o jawja manko rego meno manko jumen yono ko jumen yo jak ka jumen ke bulima de riye bagode be man sakunda ministerium mako kanado changing rooms kept di bohol yokon yo ministerium yana bo njabeta nan ko be kando toure Bahamas wala de ko kambo track wala de ko kambo pavilion e de buyam ko kanto do wafo mi jamu me kon si berige sos bo latu man ko betena ko kabo fan kuradano ministerium me buyam me jak changing rooms kept ko ende di mante referee rooms di wa do brok banoy bu in 2021 ko gar bagude ko kasar mambe ko bontu bukana me électionnaire ringulom nyaay nye baro abajon tame bukana ke foni nyena bajon tange yolla be kariben be bukana ke foni man ko rambe no mba mansaya na komi wiw baro na women on the 5th of December funaka kila panje musum ji fama e jame ha jame pana leñu baro pana langenu jame le bajo baja APRC pour nimisa de an jakumba buntu wow so comme luma don explain ci angale ni dega na ne baro eleg la mo accès foñi so ñu ngi haya moto ñu ngi haya ay gele ak ay trucks ak ay bus pour nit ñi mën la board ñu fessal nit ñi ñu joggé kombo pour dem kalaji pour tewi arrival baro bi baro eleg la mo accès foñi so dañ bëgg ñëpp ñu jog dem join sa moto nak ñi dem kalaji pour dem welcome baro at Brumam Bridge lu tax ñuy def loolu because ñun suñu APRC National Executive Committee ñoo nekk di def loolu ñoo nekk di organise pour nit ñi jógee West Coast Region indi combos ñëpp dem kalaaji suñu West Coast Region chairman or acting chairman of West Coast Region APRC moo doon announce audio ne ëllëg la Barrow di agsi fooñi so ñii xam nañ ne Barrow amut benn supporter fooñi Barrow amut benn following fooñi so lu ma doon wax ne si Joola mooy na waa fooñi dem toppatoo ji seen soxla buñ dem fen buñ dem si jotaay bi ëllëg jotaay bu ñoo am ëllëg Brumam Bridge kalaaji pour dem welcome Barrow na gaay dumooy Barrow because Barrow amut benn intérêt fooñi bu mu toogee ba tey defut fooñi dara lu ndaw lu mu defoon bu yaam mu ne dafa defar mini stadium bi mini stadium bi dañ ko upgrade loolu rek la def fooñi te mini stadium bi dégg naa ne nuñ ko tabee nuñ ko sampee baaxut dégg naa changing rooms lañ fa def de ba pare liggéey bu ñu fa defoon noonu liggéey yaakamti liggéey embezzle xaalis liggéey jël xaalis tëdd ci kawam loolu lañ def dégg naa ay bloc ñu ngi fa saani ay bloc changing rooms si nuñ ko sampee sampuñ ko mu jàkk dafa mel ni contractors si wala government department si ñu allocate xaalis bi wala ñu waroon a jël xaalis bi upgrade stadium bi defee ko ay Bahamas wala ay track ak yooyu parce que kuy dem stadium 2021 ngaa dem stadium mini stadium yi Buyaam dafa def ay benn borehole ak changing rooms loolu ban njëriñ la amal waa Buyaam ak surrounding bi Barrow lan la def fooñi since bu mu toogee ba tey lan la def fooñi su lu dul yaaxa doomi fooñi daaxaleen yëpp jéene leen si seen liggéey lu tax waa fooñi di bàyyi seen tool yi di dem di ko welcome dañ foog ne waa fooñi dañ dof waa fooñi dofuñ de waa fooñi dañ flexible de pare dañ bëgg ay visitor stranger dañ dee welcome stranger to dañ bëgg a nit ñi loo mun di mel foo mun di jógee boo aagee fooñi ni dañ la offer a welcoming home teera nga 100% dañ ko am loolu nekk nga njiit nekk loo njiit ordinary person wala extraordinary person boo aagee fooñi xam ne da nga soxla ndimbal wala da nga bëgg a gaa jox la accommodation wala ñu jox la li nga lekka waa fooñi nañ ko dee def that was time in memory even before Jammeh became president noonu lañ xamee fooñi da pare pour suñ bëggee pour support la jar nga jox leen dara dañ laa support ca kaw dëgga suñ gisee dëgga rek dañ laa support jar nga jox leen dara looloo tax nit ñi dañ leen nekk di tooñ waa fooñi ne waa fooñi amut story building fooñi amut nii fooñi amut lale since time Jawara waaw ma ne boo liggéeyal nguur gi Gambia government sàcculoo dara yeah naka ngaa sampee story building with your ordinary civil servant job but anyway that's besides the point ñu ne ëllëg la Barrow di agsi fooñi so ñu ngi hire moto APRC ñoo nekk di organise because APRC dañ xam ne dañ am huge support in the combos and the fooñis so lu ñoo def mooy gars yi dañoo dajalee ay moto ñu create benn convoy bu nganda comme rent crowd rek because xam nañ ne waa fooñi kese duñ dem support yi Barrow duñ teew duñ dem si béréb bi non xam nañ loolu fooñi supportuñ Barrow te duñ ko support fooñi duñ mus a jam faa Yaya Jammeh fa Barrow su den keneen la sax fooñi dañ daan support Jawara fii 100% because dañ ko laakoon Jawara du Joola waa lum bon Jawara waxam bi daf dee rafet yaa ngi maa dégga ba pare waa fooñi dañ ko laakoon because of various reasons Barrow ba mu toogee ba tey defu dara fooñi lu dul yaaxa doomi fooñi nguuram bi rey na doomi fooñi nguuram bi fii lañ daaxa doomi fooñi from the Gambia government from the army daaxalen fetel leen Ismaila Tamba Haruna Jatta Sirifo Kujabi ñëpp ku ñu rey Gambia rek Gambia government ku ñu rey Gambia rek dañ ko dee investigate murder bi dañ ko dee investigate ñu indi results yi ba des doomi Fooñi benn murder of doomi Fooñi mosuñ koo def fii la ñu rey Haruna Jatta ñu fetel ñenn yi about 13 of them gaañ leen investigation bi defuñ ko kenn déggu ko ñu rey Sirifo Kujabi saani ko si biir teen investigation bi ana results yi investigation bi fii lañ fetel Ismaila Tamba ana investigation bi ana results yi fii la Sénégal yi soldats yi jël seen fetel suñu own Gambian soldiers in Kanilai gaañ leen si seen tànka yi ana investigation bi ana results yi ma ne Barrow dafaa ñëw Fooñi ëllëg waa Fooñi duñ ko dem welcome dara kenn du jéena so maa ngi def Facebook live this morning those tey pour sensitiser suñu APRC supporters yi ak waa Fooñi na gaa toppatoo seen soxla su ñoo dem seen tool yi nañ dem seen tool yi mu ngeen dem si Kalaaji Brumam Bridge pour welcome Barrow pour lan ngir lan lu ñoo welcome Barrow doy Barrow lan la def Fooñi Barrow lan la def Gambia su doon beneen jiit la sax ku doon perform miracles ku doon develop Gambia liggéeyam bi rafet ñu mën a understand waaw Barrow bu mu toogee ba tey dara nekkul di dox suñu liggéey suñu dëkk bi dara doxul Gambia mu ngi dellu gannaaw rek corruption is at an all time high crime rate is an all time high education amut garab amut lopitaan yi doxuñ dara doxut dëkk baa ngi xat dëkk baa ngi dang du loolu moo tax crime rate saa ngi bëri so waa Fooñi dem leen ngeen toppatoo ji seen soxla bu leen dem Kanilai bu leen dem si meeting yi Barrow boycott leen ko bu leen ko entertain sax def lan waa West Coast region Samalen Bita Kalaaji Barrow bi futale na Allah taala wal ko bu leen dem teeru ji Barrow bu leen ko entertain sax su ñëwee ngeen dem seen tool wala ngeen toog seen néeg ngeen toppatoo seen soxla so mbaɗigol kamɓen foten wolem ngal ko sama Barrow na Fooñi ha samaɓe fotala nan Kalaaji e ko ha Fooñinkol yetaya ben Fooñinkol titaya ben ɗum ha ɓe West Coast region APRC molle ɓe organisational pour ka motol APRC executive o men ko kodo tebulo sañi kodo sotale foy ka motol luwase ka bonan kombo ka mol sika bol e ka commande e ka foñade fan ka mol sika motol kono ka motol fande ka bo kombo kata fo Kalaaji pour kata ka Barrow ben pour ase mulun ko Barrow e supporter so sotole Fooñi ya lonne ko Barrow man support soto Fooñi an Fooñinkol ba boycott la Fooñinkol te tala Barrow la meeting olto ete ta bendun na Brumam Bridge yo bendung ñinata ngo ko mola ete ta bendun na Brumam Bridge ñento eta kala Fooñinkol te jamme jamfala pour juma Barrow ya jamme man tara ñi alliance o komad amanyil support daman han demanding amantare koma ya jamme ko APRC to tala alliance to with any party let alone a dirty party ana be loring wala to as of last week ya jamme ni manyi mol support amantare ñu kuwol kono ñu kuwol jam faale bi je ntol nga mel long dalil ko le be mol bul ya jamme support to alliance bi tay support ko elek mu ne alliance ak NPP moom du ko support because Yaya Jammeh du mën a support alliance APRC ak NPP waaw ñun lu ñoo def mooy dañoo mobilize resources ñu mobilize personnel bés dina jot xëy na nañ dégg position Yaya Jammeh dina ko clear ñëpp nañ ko xam yo so nga continuer dron nga do ko ke APRC mol alkana ta dula sama Barrow la na Fooñi ay na mo mang Barrow support Fooñinkol te Barrow normal because Barrow mam fenne do ko Fooñi kabra sita fo bi ala mini stadium wa ko kamel lo no mbuyam mini stadium juma nga mo abi ya lo nyama fanga man correct do ko hawjeringo election ya do ko ni election o sita man sakunda ka do ko menke a do ko nyimbu ka baraka because amantare nganiyoto Barrow ye wala ke Fooñi amantara nganiyoto a kele pour mo sa ko he Barrow sanga ka ay Fooñinkol hatira o Barrow sanga ka Fooñinkol a wolita Fooñinkol lafta Fooñinkol la minto kabiru muntuma sanji lulu sam Barrow be siri nga monake Fooñi a mol ki jang 2017 ay committee ki jang 2017 Fooñi ka investigation okay ka jube mo natna Fooñi man la fala wala fonye bara Mansakunda opposition yala wo recommendation on ñin mol men ka audio dada men botanam fonyi ay mo ñi mol men jota ka brown envelope ol dila pour yata fo fonyi ko le ko ha ala tranga baro support wala ki ya recommendation o safiya di baro la mol la ya muna kije wo recommendation o te hani point killing ima ole kije ya fonyi dingol men bay civil service ya bay army to UDP le ñim bekede anim baro ha UDP ni baro koy ka ko man ñaari fa kurunin fa fesia ibeke UDP ni baro ibekele wala ni nga moy APS executive ba foka ha ntol malla fi UDP la mbesela den UDP la bare nga baro support ka fu mo nyil mo le ko yalong atol alkana mol nene mbading UDP ni baro says ak nof ibekele mo man fisse ya moti baro UDP jikole bala so ka APS executive ka sije ka fo ha UDP teninteng UDP la jawyata baro bete fo UDP kanyi manya men ken 2017 2018 ka fonyi dingol bayla doko la ka fonyi dingol bonki do la ke fa ke bay military ala ke bay civil service fo baro ma wolo nje kaya jamela bagasol busi kala ni solta ka talantalan ka tractol ta ka busi f senelal maka di modo la mo koten na ya wafe fo baro ma o kalamta numbam kalamtale baro ning APS executive meta ke kalanyo kanne e meta la dibo ko na doko la amanke biti so fengo men ka kenung APS dingo ma baro ya lan because baro la molko kabruto le duku start in APS executive was 2018 sanji saba command yo wala fo o tamole duku start so fengo men ka kenung APS ni Gambia kono baro ya lan muna na baro ma UDP stop nim baro winter election la in December ya mera baro be UDP stop no la wala la Mansakunda doko la stop la bang APS executive ko ni ajen kata baro support wala baro le be jamme murndi la nan baro ko APS executive ye ko anin Gambian ko le ko atata jamme murndi no la nan baro la administrative secretary Mr Njaya ko baro government te jamme murndi no la agreement no men kata alliance o nying NPP ning APS drone na Mansakunda tije so ni Mansakunda ko hanin tolta jamme murndi la nan APS be munen no la je munan na APS be takan ka baro support mun nafale bi je APS ye nafati je fambatan dolem baro be men tamandi kan ani ay mol men jo pour eta foni ka foni kol nene ali bam far nintenga sembo sotono baro ni UDP bo Mansakunda ito sutiala state house wan be killing but no alliance movement on ngamen fono nga clarify ñi ñoro lembang eme balembang abla bojana no alliance movement all national executive committees leaders also ta konole nga womol noma akuma setanan daming wala na national executive members all memman song alliance ola honorable Abdou Jaju honorable Bakar Sabo Sane aning member all noma kan kabru ñi no alliance kuma seta wato menna pa modum bo amijata seka bay prof baji ani o modol nga wol noma no alliance quarter momo be kukela no alliance press conference lem wo a fundraising lem wo a rally le wo yenyi mol commande aliasi ali lungo pick ali lungo ta ali cool diamo ali d'accord ngata nyim fankol mo kana press conference o commande no alliance movement o ta atra imam Bakari Saybo inform imam national youth mobilizer honorable Abdou Jajo wala pamo mbonyol wala jerende sanyang nyol ali inform ibume aliasi ali meeting ol ke nga d'accord lungola nga d'accord kuma kango nyen nambe mem fola nga lo president Jammeh no alliance movement man tara flag bearer nyinola no alliance movement la flag bearer mo president Jammeh lati ila party leader mo president Jammeh lati ila supreme leader mo party president Jammeh lati ntol mem bebe maka o ke kan ba ke kan president Jammeh le anin Gambia anin APRC nga lo jaay bambang kut so momo be fenkela no alliance movement oto jarenden sanyang commande honorable Abdou Diadji commandé Bakar Saybo commandé ali d'accord lungol menna ali pamodum bo commandé Seka Baye commandé ali Amijata commandé ani mo ko tengal men bije mam mentol commandé Almame Jiba prof Baji ani modol ali commandé ali si nga diamo nyin ko momenti momo nata ka kafu no alliance movement they welcome ba leadership o nyin ngamel tol commandé wala ba kono from the beginning since April May watamole nga Roots Defenders Association on yin date because watamole nga je ko tapale men beke kan CRR executive photo ka Omar Mamboure ni aja Babou Sidibe bondi executive photo tapalele bi je an APRC dingote sonna wala o wato lentol nga lonko yaran na executive fo e man taraku beteto ha ban kamen fon wolem na kata nasira executive committee tonya ya jammele be koma problem tala no alliance movement te balanna wala because ntol man lafi menna wala ka ya jamme jamfa ka Gambia jamfa ka APRC jamfa pour mon kamma ka baro support bar ni ya jamme be national executive koma nga evidence koy masoto ntol fanam be na no alliance movement o nyeng mba bulalal presso group ni nyimbe tar la jele barante kelo kela because mo jama be APRC bi president jamme latin nay bi je ni ajen kanyim makangol beke president jamme la ko latin namba ke kan bantol ko president jamme ni na leader sol Gambia honorable Abdou Jajin Bakary Sabo nyol diamatale ani marake sam ko diamatale ani kanela ko diamatale amantare nyin ko koma yes hani mo be man diamo ani mo dantane diamata amantara koma a dalil koyole be mol bulo sontol ko alliance o te kela wala no alliance movement bi abe sembo soto kan fo na national executive committee ni baro la mol borita tata police oli ko ha ni no alliance movement alkana pamito di la rally kejang alkana pamito di la to kejang police ol fanang manyanna dunna politico kono e fanan sita ye mol bali pamito la pour nying sibito men tambita nyanta rally kela no ye mol bali pamito la because muneketa ibe selari no alliance movement la ya lonne ko no alliance movement majority of APRC dingo be wala kono ete tabaro ya muk ntolbe sirin jambe president jamela instruction ole batukan by the middle of October be president jamela instruction ol moy landi ma moy fanang maybe dalil ko beta mol bulen ba lo nale be ferele dundi la pour ka ground o nyeng ka set pour na mur tadan a tara APRC be bambani kut APRC dingol bebe loring aye be loring Gambia e be loring APRC ente tala ka baro fasa hando mande de sonnala ma ta kala yo ala baraka bake man la finu nyif morning dose ye jamfa bake bilen 22nd of September 2021 anal badi male lamin tamba so e katinya eka diamo men beke ten ko lamin tamba le ka party nyin fara fulati e mantara diamo betola ha e ben tole ko yakan aman soto lamin tamba ning APRC den jamal ko eteta baro fasa la ka president jamme jamfa eta kela wala bije mo jamaay wala fo tolbe lori wala to bi be lori wala to sama yo so ni tata e be nyin audio men be dada kan kala men tamba nyol kele ka prof nyol kele ka baytula nyol kele ka jamme jilan ko nyol kele jiba kulo nyol awasa nyang nyol Abdou Wahab nyol ani diamolal be men be APRC ni aje ben tol kele kam bi ya lonne ko itol ye fero men lande pour yeta ni baro ye lala ran kelen o fero nyim tinyatale APRC dingol be tonya jekan woto APRC dingol ti tabaro ya ita support lan tol be lori njang be lori njang mel lamoy kam president jamala so ntol te president jama jamfala for all wolle be lori kan APRC la ko kala bi momo lafita kata baro ya ke fansung kunkeling hajo tama taje ni lafta ke ambassador ti taje ni lafta ke minister ti taje ni lafta so Kudibala taje ni lafta so bungola wala motokuto ta baro ya APRC bula koma bo APRC dron kom modol ya ke nyamen e bota APRC tata baro ya tata bay ngol taje rek APRC bula president jame koto APRC mantara flag bearer nyine kan president jamalem flag bearer ti party leader and supreme party leader so therefore ni nyoro membe no alliance movement ha emeba matros ablabo jam matros yeah, maybe momo na la opinion on problem tola but no alliance movement ni momo lafata ka any program okay ka t-shirt wafi ka asobil wafi Bakary Sabo Sane commande honorable Abdou Jajo commande honorable Jerene Sanyang commande aliye mo sabol sendi yela plan sol dundi ya foy ko lafta kanyin ni ke lafta kanyin fundraising la ke nyanta kanyin press conference la ke nyanta kanyin t-shirt le print nyanta kanyin asobi le print aliye commande aliye si aliye agree aliye date pick na meeting men soto no alliance meeting on be etaje ninga rally commande be etaje ninga fundraising commande be etaje wala na kuma labangote bi ala baraka alna albadi ma lamin tamba thank you